A single seed can germinate an entire forest, but when these seeds are non-native, they begin to pose problems. The Japanese arrowroot has a creeping effect on North America. It covers the other plants, suffocating them by blocking out the sun. Just like the arrowroot, 150 seeds of another being can destroy and remake the world to suit their pleasures. This is Ancestria, the journey out of Africa. Around 70,000 years ago, our ancestors left Africa once again. This time it would be a success. Many groups of humans left Africa, either by the Sinai Peninsula or across the Red Sea, also known as the Gate of Grief. But only one tribe survived to produce the heirs of Eurasia. They probably numbered 150 people passing through the Gate of Grief. The DNA of all those alive, except sub-Saharan Africans, can be traced back to those from this group. Reaching Arabia was not like it would be today. Sea levels were substantially lower than they are today. It was a lot more hospitable at this time, seeing its share of rivers, lakes, and greenery. They continued pushing forward, meandering and following game to South Asia, where we have our first major split that survives in our story. Roughly around 68,000 years ago, our ancestors met with the lands of India, and the tribe split in two directions. They reached Southeast Asia by 63,000 years ago, where Sundaland still existed. Some took to the north and arrived in China around 60,000 years ago. Others faced 30 kilometers of open ocean, separating the Sunda landmass from the closest island, and then 100 kilometers to the next landmass. By 55,000 years ago, they reached Sahul, the connected landmass of New Guinea and Australia. It would have been impossible for the entire group to reach it without an ocean vessel. On their journey, they encountered the Denisovans, one of the major evolutionary offsprings of Homo erectus. They are important to our story because we interbred with them. Not much is known about them though, except that they had molars much like the Australopithecines, and that of modern indigenous inhabitants have anywhere from 3 to 8% of their DNA derived from Denisovans. Australia at this time was mostly savanna, and so it is much like the land our ancestors departed from. Australia is rather unique in its wildlife, and so the Australian Aborigines would have a slow process adapting to their new environment initially, but they used a bush burning technique to assist them. Additionally, their population doubled every 20 years for the next 2,000 years, and by 10,000 years ago, they might have reached a population of 1 million. This was not without consequences, however. After the arrival of Homo Sapiens, many of the large animals went extinct due to human activity, including giant birds, reptiles, and marsupials. This is also far from the only instance. Our growing supremacy was impressive and should be celebrated, but we can still learn lessons from the past, humbling us all the while. This is Ancestria, the history of our ancestors.